This is Jason's Talking Time with Jason Kitt. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. This is Jason Kitt. You're tuning into another edition of Jason's Talking Time. And if you are a fan of the show, please follow us on Twitter and on Instagram, and keep track of everything that's going on with Jason's Talking Time. We'll be asking people to get involved in the program very soon, and we would like for everyone to keep track of everything that's going on in between. As far as announcements or any show schedule changes, whatnot, and what have you. You can find it all on Twitter and on Instagram. All right, so on today's program, we are going to discuss different side hustles that you can take on, especially with the holiday season approaching. A lot of people are looking for ways to generate some extra income because, Santa Claus can't take care of everything. There's just some things that Santa can't take care of. He can't take care of the light bill. He can't take care of your cell phone bill. He can't put food on the table and all that stuff. Some things you just got to do for yourself. And so I'm going to explain to you some of the better side hustles that are out there for people who maybe don't have any talent that they can use as far as a side hustle. So some of the interesting side hustles that I've done in the past, of course, I was an Uber driver, and I did that for about a month or so, and it was fun, but then, and when you get late into the evening, you get all those drunk people, they jump in your car, and they be all loud and obnoxious, and then one lady came in my car, and she wanted to bring alcohol in my vehicle, and I said, no, you can't bring that shit in my car. And like, no, all the other Uber drivers say I can have liquor in my car, and I'd be like, nope, not in this Uber, you can't. And then she and her buddies got in my car, and she was playing with my radio, putting the shit up all loud, and I can barely hear anything going on in the street, and it was like, after a while, I was like, you guys got to get the hell out of my car. And even before that, I had a customer that got in and got out. And it was a double surge at the time. So you can imagine my anger and frustration. That was just like that episode of Rocco where they went to France and that bus driver was chasing them all over Paris saying, get back on the bus. I was just like that when those girls got in my car and just jumped out of there. Out of no, well, I mean, that was messed up Anyway, the worst thing that I've ever done for money, I would have to say, was moving lily pads. And I got to explain what this whole ordeal was, because it was something that I did when I was in college. And I did not have a whole lot of money at the time. And so whatever little job I can get my hands on, I was going to take it. At the time, I was almost flat broke. And so they were offering $60. This is one of these jobs I found on Craigslist, which I'm going to explain to you about Craigslist. You really have to know what you're doing. You really have to master the art of looking for work on Craigslist, because there is some stuff on Craigslist that you really need to avoid, especially the ones that tell you up front, this is not a scam. If they have to come out and say this is not a scam, it probably is a scam. I'm just going to go right off and be real. It very, very likely is a scam. Maybe they want you to sell Herbalife or something like that, something that they were talking about on last week, a few weeks ago. And these pyramid schemes is where you actually have to give them money in order for them to give you the product for you to sell back. And pretty much anything that tells you see this a lot, even in legit side hustles where you get like $500 bonuses for referring a friend. And that's how pyramid schemes work, pretty much. But anyway, getting back into the job that I had. It was in the middle of December, early December to be exact, because it was the day Alabama played Georgia in the SEC championship game. Roll Tide, by the way. But once again, getting back into the story before I go off on another tangent. This job required me to put on a wetsuit, and I actually had to go into about, I'd say the deepest I got into the water was maybe shoulder deep, above, a little bit below the shoulders. But anyway, that water was cold, and it was nasty, it was slimy, and what I thought I was going to be doing, I thought I was going to get on a boat or be on the dock, and they were going to give me like a little net, like you use a kind of swimming pool. Because I thought lily pads were just like little leaves that float on the water. Turns out lily pads are actually plants. They're almost like seaweeds, rather. They grow into the water, so what you do is they gave you a knife, and you have to get in that water and cut the stems. I mean, you got to go to the root of these lily pads and cut. And I was like, what the hell did I sign up for this shit for? I mean, I really should have done my research before I signed up for that. I know I got my $60 at the end of the day, but I mean, spending 6 hours in dirty water. And did I even mention that I dropped the knife? And I spent a little bit over an hour looking for the knife. And I really tried my best, and I had to like kick for it too, because I was not about to dive into that water looking for no knife that they could go to Walmart and get another one for like $30. I even say, man, at this point I may as well just say, I'll just take 30. You can take the other 30 to buy a new knife. But anyway, that's just something that's in the past. I've done it. And it's a pretty good story, so can't go wrong with it. I made $20 to $50 that day, so there are many ways to go about making a little extra cash on the side. Of course, there is the aforementioned driving for Uber, and there's also Lyft and Hire Car and other sources where you can actually rent out your vehicle to other people. That is, of course, if you actually trust people with your car. And then, of course, there's also Airbnb and Vero, I think is what it's called. But anyway, these websites, of course, Airbnb. Airbnb is something that I might be weary of personally myself, but if you like having random people coming in and out of your house and sleeping in that guest room that nobody ever uses or occupies, I mean, that's not a bad way to make an extra $50, $100 extra every month. And then there are also many other different sites out there that's like Uber and Airbnb that offer different other services. There are websites where you can deliver food for people. There's stuff where you can go grocery shopping for people. You can walk people's dogs, pet sit their dogs, and pet grooming, they have that. And there's something I looked up, and a friend of mine in Michigan does this. It's called being a doula, if I'm pronouncing it correct. Somebody that provides emotional support for people who are in labor and after labor, like postpartum. So they do that too. Now, some of the weirder side hustles I've seen out there, there's one called a professional cutler. And that really threw me off when I saw that online. It's like, I really can't put into words what a professional cutler does, but pretty much it's somebody that gets paid to give people hugs, which I don't know, man. Are you really in that bad a shape? Was your day really that bad? Is your life in that much of a disarray to where you would actually pay somebody $15 just to give you a hug? And if you have to pay somebody to give you a hug, you probably got a problem yourself. I mean, maybe you haven't taken a bath in 6 months. Maybe you have bad breath. I mean, maybe you are just awkward and unappealing to people. But apparently they have them and they're making money, so more power to them. Another thing they have is Rent a Friend, where you can actually get paid to be somebody's friend. And it's not the first time I've seen something like this. I've seen these on Fiverr. You have people that'll be your Facebook friend, be your Twitter friend, follow you on Twitter, people that'll like your Facebook comments and statuses. And I can kind of see the point from a marketing perspective, but to actually rent somebody's friendship, I mean, that's taking buying somebody's friendship to a whole nother level. Because you shouldn't have to buy somebody's friendship. And first of all, where the hell were these people when I was in high school? I could have really used this website to find a date to my homecoming dance. And it's going back to the professional cutler deal. It's like, if you're having trouble making friends, maybe you should seek professional help. Use that money that you were going to use on a professional cutler, on Rent a Friend. Take that money and put it to good use. And go see a therapist. And get some professional help. But anyway, that's just my viewpoint of the whole deal. My viewpoint of what I've looked up in my research. Let's see what else I found. Airbnb. Oh, and something else I found that I personally found pretty disturbing is this website called hairsalon.com. Not salon. Salon. Sellon. Now, these are people who actually sell their locks. People who have very long hair and they decide they want to cut it. They actually sell their hair online. And people are actually paying hundreds of dollars to buy hair. And mind you, this is real hair, but still, why would you pay for hair? Now, I can see if you have cancer or alopecia or something of the sort, but to sell your hair online, and these aren't even famous people, just regular everyday people, but there's a market for it, I guess. You know, we voted for Donald Trump for president, so why am I really surprised to see this kind of shit online? Well, anyway, I want to know what side hustles you have done in the past, and maybe I will read your story on a future broadcast. So that's what I want you to do if you're listening. Please follow us on Twitter and on Instagram and send in your story. The weirdest thing you have ever done for $1. And I want something that's absolutely outrageous. I mean, it's got to be something like my lily pad stories. If you can top my lily pad story, I might even give you some airtime. I might even Skype you in. You can tell a story yourself. But anyway, this is going to do it for Jason's Talking Time. We appreciate your listenership, and we hope to see you again next time. I hope to hear from you again real soon. But now, this is Jason Kidd. I'm signing off. Good night.